Mid might need some help tidying up that workshop.
Clive, did you get my letter?
That's why I'm here.
Shh. Otto won't be listening. A little. Listen. I've some bad news, and it's maybe my fault. Sadly, that square turned out to be more of a circle. I can straighten it out, I swear, but I'm gonna need help keeping it from...
Bit late for that, I'd say.
There you are! What a surprise!
So let me get this straight. You forget to pay our rent, and instead of coming straight to me, you get Clive to come to you. The man in charge of the place you've been cheerfully trying to bankrupt. And you thought this well? Who needs...
Oh, just Martha. And the dame.
We owe 3 of our most trusted...
Each. 5 million. They lent us the bulk of the money we used to rebuild the hideaway, you see, and, well, I must have...
Those ledgers were my
Do
responsibility.
we have that much to hand? I can always ask my uncle.
No, we don't. And no, after the king's ransom we had off him, he deserves better than to see our begging bowl. Besides, we'll need to learn to stand on our own if we...
All right. But that doesn't mean you have to... Is there anything I can do to help?
There might be. How'd you fancy taking these to Martha and the dame?
Rocks.
Rocks, he says. A little something Sid and I set aside for, and I reckon 15 million in overdue debt probably qualifies. I just hope ours...
I'm sure there will.
But you know how it is with this place. Orders to bark.
I know. Which is why I don't...
Go. Do you know why I only gave Master Clive here 2 star rubies?
Because...
Because I'd rather Lady Karen killed you. Yeah.
Well...
Don't worry.
Really? Do you think so?
No. I don't.
Mid told me she was building a ship.
Really? Is that the thing Tomes helped to build?
I got your note. You think something's wrong with Torgal?
So you can read. Congratulations. I didn't say I were wrong with him. I said something weren't right. He's not been eating. He used to love cracking the bones from Molly's boiled brown, but now I didn't like him. Which is why I'm of a mind that his mind's on something else. You've not been working him too hard, have you?
No harder than usual. Is that it, boy? Do you need a rest?
What was it you said he was?
That's what the lawsman seems to think.
Then maybe this all has something to do with what...
I suppose things have been different since Rosalith. Perhaps Hippocrates knows something.
Instead of everything, you mean?
You're looking well, Karen.
What do you want?
I want to know about the sword you showed Blackthorn. Single-edged.
Running around after him again,
I suppose I am, yes. But I need to help him find out how to work.
Little wonder, I suppose. There's not many like that make it as far as the twins, and those that do go straight in, which made it nice and easy finding a buyer.
Can you tell me who bought it?
You think I tell people who my clients are? Suppose you're not likely to go. Fine. If you stop mooning at me like that. Lord Ignac's the man you want. Delmecian bloke. Collects weapons and the like. And he's got more money than sense, which is why he's one of my favourites. Reckon he'll still be at the inn in Dallamil, where I left him.
Thank you, Karen.
Oh. And he's a touch eccentric. If you take my meaning.
I appreciate the warning. Lawsman, I need to ask you about Torgal. Something's not right with him.
He isn't ill, is he?
I don't think so. But according to Lady Karen, he seems to have lost his appetite, which is certainly a new development. She says he's hardly been touching his bones of late, and she believes it may have something to do with what happened at Rosalith Castle.
I rather think she might be right, though not about his appetite. All canids are instinctively inclined to crack open bones for the rich marrow that resides within, and I see no reason why a frost wolf should be any different. Accordingly, I suspect it is not a lack of appetite that afflicts Torgal, but a surfeit of it. If we assume that his newfound magics require additional nourishment to sustain, it may well be that the bones Lady Karen is accustomed to providing, frost wolves, after all, habitually prey upon far larger animals, whose bones may yield altogether different nutrients. As to where one might find a suitable substitute, some antelopes that graze the
I don't recall ever seeing any that large.
and little wonder. The oldest and largest such creatures rarely leave the safety of the highlands for fear of predator. The last elder antelope sighting I recall hearing about took place near Cressida. And
Even so, it seems
good hunting, Clive.
Mid told me she was building a ship.
Have here. Greetings, Your Majesty. Your reign is over. Now to collect the act. This looks like the stuff. Let's see if there's any more. That should do it. If it weren't...
There's talk.
How the hell is anyone supposed to afford that?
Did you hear?
The gates to heaven, Paul.
I want to see you again.
What am I going to do without Sweetwater and oil of talc?
Milady.
Gifts? Oh my.
Otto asked me to give it to you, to settle the hideaway's debt with the veil, and to compensate.
You disappoint me, Clive. I thought you might finally be warming to me. Tell Otto he can keep his baubles. The man owes me nothing. Nor does my contribution to the restoration effort was made freely.
You once told me Sid did you a kindness. I'd like to do the same. Please, accept it. For my sake. And for Otto's. For all of us. For all you've done.
Otto is lucky to have you. I doubt anything could ever replace his son. But you and the...
Otto had a son.
Long ago. Yes, and blamed himself for not being able to stop it. I don't know how it happened. Whether there was anything he could have done. But it was...
I didn't know.
How could you have? Besides Sid, I've never met a man more keen to bear his sorrow. An ill habit, given that both have always been surrounded by friends desperate to help them.
I'm beginning to see... People take notice of wealthy men. Shouldn't be too hard to track down Karen's collector.
The whole mother crystal gone.
You.
What are we gonna do?
Listen.
Calm yourself.
I've got this theory. The fallen, I don't think they all fell. Some of them are still living among us. You could be one of them. I could be one of them.
Back again, are you? Any more trouble and you'll be barred for life, however deep your friends are.
Welcome. If you're hoping for a bed, I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. One of our wealthier patrons has purchased the use of every room, hoping to keep out the...
My reputation will be ruined.
Calm yourself, Lord Ignac.
Pardon the intrusion, but...
Out! Get out! I paid for these rooms so I wouldn't be disturbed. Leave me be!
Please, Allah, his lordship is going through a difficult time.
Radim! Get rid of the filthy oaf this instant!
Very good, Lord Ignac. Would you mind stepping outside?
I'm sorry if I've caused you any trouble.
That? Oh, no. That's just how his lordship is. Though the morning's events have left him somewhat. Frack has been dispossessed of his luggage, you see. The thieves also made away with a considerable amount of coin. Coin the innkeeper will soon be keen to collect.
I don't suppose a certain blade was among the stolen items. A single-edged sword. It was purchased from a merchant friend of mine.
Ah, you know Lady Karen. Yes, I'm afraid it was.
Then I'll retrieve Lord Ignac's luggage. But I have one condition.
You have but to state it. You
want an audience with Lord Ignac.
A condition I would be a fool to refuse.
I don't suppose you saw with the thieves...
I did not, no. Though some discreet inquiries made on his lordship's behalf mean that I know where you might find them. The bandit's bed. Every ill-gotten coin in Dalamal is said to pass through that disroom.
And that's where I'm heading.
I shall speak to Lord Ignac in your absence.
That will be very kind of you.
Farewell, and best of luck.
Come on. Run like the wind.
You deserve a rest.
We've got company! Come on, lads, let's tear the bastard's head off!
slow.
Over here! Sickle!
This must be Ignac's luggage. Nothing seems to be damaged. All right.
I hear I have you to thank. What shall I call you?
Wyvern. Glad to be.
A formidable name indeed. Well, Wyvern, I appear to be in your debt. Radim here tells me you wished for an audience.
A few moments of your time should...
You're a peculiar fellow.
Master Wyvern was wondering if you could tell him about a certain...
Oh, a true work of art, that one. Karen drove me hard on the price, but I would have sold her Radim here to get my hands on that sword. It was made in the Outer Isle and is used exclusively by the practitioners. They believe no combat should ever exceed a single strike. Each sword is made for that one perfect stroke. There's a brutal sort of beauty.
But how do they hone such an edge?
Why, they use a whetstone. Whetstones, rather. A whole array of them, ranging from the coarse to the fine. 10,000 licks with the sharpening stone, then 10,000 more. But it is the final stone which lends a mineral quite foreign. And that is the key. Wyvern, it occurs to me that my little lecture is hardly equal to serve. Take this, to get the very stone of which I spoke. Far rarer among and a far more.
Thank you.
Pardon the intrusion, my lordship.
So it is. I am locked in bitter competition with a rival collector of... I am one step ahead of the unscrupulous.
And there are many other collectors out there.
Too many to count. But only one do I consider my nemesis, and is a perennial thorn in my side.
I can imagine.
Farewell, Wyvern. May our paths cross again. Radim, we mustn't do...
I think his lordship is rather taken with you, Coming, my lordship. I'll be...
Trust Uncle Byron to find such an interesting... Now, let's see what Black...
Ready, go?
Well, it's certainly quiet. If I were a giant antelope, it would seem like just the place. I doubt we'll find one bigger than that. You hungry, Torgal?
Bravo! It's over.
Now. Will it be enough, I wonder? I say that answers my question, which means we owe the lawsman up. You're just a big puppy, aren't you? A very big puppy. You do know you can take... Lady Karen will be relieved to hear you've got your appetite back.
After it.
Clive, we weren't...
I wasn't expecting to be here, but it seems we still owe you a... And though I doubt it's what you were expecting.
A star, Ruby? It's worth at least twice what you owe me. More if you can find yourself the right buy.
Think of the difference as interest.
Interest? If word got out I charged that much, no one would ever... Anyway, why are you the one here asking me about this? Bit much sending the Lord Marquis out to settle your debts, isn't it?
Something like that. Most days I think he's the only reason the hideaway's still standing.
Same as always, eh? Back when the place was nothing but a twinkle in the eye of a recently retired Lord Commander, word is he was the first one Sid reached out. Probably knew that without his strong arm and level head, Sid may have been the face of the hideaway, but Otto's always been the backbone. And when Sid passed away, we were all worried that would be the end of it.
His death was hard on everyone. But it must have hit Otto hardest of all.
But he didn't give up, did he? Quite the opposite, in fact. I reckon what he saw in... And don't we all? Doesn't hurt that you're half as stubborn and twice as hand... That, and you keep good company.
I suppose I do. Go will want to know the stones were delivered. If he's still with us.
What are you after? That all, is it?
I noticed you and Torgal had got... So, Molly's leftovers weren't good enough, eh? That'll teach me for treating you like you're still a pup. All right. Now we know what you're after. I can see about getting some...
Speaking of which, I brought one for later. Can I leave it with you?
You can, aye. I'm nice. In return, you can thank Tomes for me.
I was just on my way to see him. Sorry for the wait, but hopefully he'll agree it was what...
You learned something about that sort?
I did better than...
A whetstone?
Yes. But not what...
No wonder I couldn't get the same finish on the grunt. One hit and all done, eh? Might not be so bad if all you ever forward. Good luck on the battlefield. You're second up.
Even so, is there...
I think so, yeah. With this whetstone and the right kind of steel. But there'd be no replacing this little rock once I worn it down to a sliver. I reckon we get a dozen swords from it, if that. Swords that the curse breakers wouldn't know how to wield properly, and that would see them through a sink. Nah. No point trying to copy that thing. Be about as much use as a wax amp. But finishing our blades with a whetstone this fine. Now that's something to consider. And what's finer than fallen masonry, eh? Or more hardwood, just imagine it. Good Valesthian steel with an edge as sharp as any found in the Outer Isles. I won't make a copy, nah. I'll make something much...
I'm sure the curse breakers will be just... Don't push...
Don't you worry about me. I've been working day and night since I was half your age. And I'll Hey, I owe you one. August 2. It's good to know someone's looking out for me.
He'll be happy to hear you said that.
And I'll see that my debt to you's paid. First new blade I make's got you come and find me when you've got them.
Right.
Back, are ya? Want something for you, dear? No scratches, all right? And...
Ah, Clark, were you able to locate your...
We were indeed, Lawsman. You...
Very good, very good.
Lady Karen sends her thanks, by the way. For your...
Ah. But that reminds me. Do you recall our conversation concerning Lady Jill's role in Torgal's transfer?
About how she somehow woke...
Precisely that. A reasonable conclusion, I thought. The Fenrir of legend served Shiva, and while the powers attributed to him are certainly impressive, the records imply they are somewhat different in nature.
What are you suggesting?
That Torgal may be the beneficiary of more than one icon's power. Consider that in addition to Lady Jill, he has, in short, the icons hitherto near at hand, or should I say at paw, and that number has only grown as the realm's dominance have fallen to your sword. One can but speculate as to how all of this...
He has seemed more...
And if I am not mistaken, he will grow fiercer still.
Oh. He's...
Is that the thing Tomes helped to build?
Lyd told me she was building a ship.
Really? That's a ship? Let's sail it round the lake.
Good. So Lady Karen accepted the ruby.
But she was just too stubborn to take it. She threw it right back in my face, in fact, and top.
Karen refused payment.
I hope it wasn't something I said.
I'm sure you were as tactful as ever.
Oh, wonderful.
Think Mid might need some help.
All right there, Sid. How's that hunt for the bomb ash going?
I have it here.
That's the stuff. And plenty of it, too. Enough to keep the Olympic bubbling away for a good old while. You're a gent, Sid. Let none say otherwise. Right then, let's get this control. There we have it. The Telemon Alembic. And it works just...
Very impressive.
Says the man who cut down a burning boulder.
There's no need.
Don't be... Why don't you let me take a look at that bag of yours? The one you keep your potions in.
What?
Well, we happen to have isolated a substance in our test run of the Olymp, but we might use it to breathe new life into old boots and the like. Save the hype. I reckon if we slap a bit on your bag, it'll loosen it up enough for you to...
Well, it can't hurt to try, I suppose.
That's the spirit. Leave it with me. Well, what do you reckon?
It certainly feels more flexible.
Right? Told you.
Thank you. I think.
No. For supporting Mid and the rest of us in our endeavors. Without you, we'd never have been able to discover one... And I'm telling you, there's plenty more where that came from.
Lady Karen, Goad tells me you won, but you prefer the debt was repaid in coin.
What debt? I don't recall lending. I may have tossed a talent or two in the act, but those were donations. And you can hardly call it charity if you go ask...
Of course not. But one good turn deserves it. Surely you wouldn't shun the gratitude of a pauper who happened to have become a...
Oh, so you're a prince now, are you? Fine. But I'm selling it and taking what I'm owed, then... Where'd you even get this? A decent trader might nab 1,000. A canny one, meanwhile, might claim it were nicked from the belt of Sid the Outlaw himself. Might be I already have a buyer in mind. Might be you even know her. A fine continental maid whose beauty's only. You wouldn't mind, would you?
Not at all. Just be sure to tell her.
I hear you ended up delivering all 3 stones. Thanks to this lump. I sometimes wonder what I pay you for.
Speaking of which,
Oh! So you remember what's owed to you, then? Get your ass behind that disc of yours.
Right away.
I've seen that before.
You have, yeah. Plenty of times. It was the only goblet Sid ever used. Either out of habit, or because the filthy sod couldn't be bothered to find a clean one.
I knew so little about him.
Like most people.
Martha and the Dame both seem to have fond memories of him.
I bet they do.
How long did you know Sid before he...
Before he died? Back in the day, I was a purser on a trade ship. Which is where I met him. He bought passage to... I forget where. And having that, we set up drinking Island rum till the morning bell dragged me back to my duties. Quit my post not long after that. But me and Sid stayed close. Promising we'd one day sail as... That was... before fate stepped in. And said she was having none of it. The magic woke inside my son soon after his first name day. And there was no hiding his knack.
Couldn't you and your family have...
My family were the ones who summoned the constable. Wanted the monster taken away. I couldn't turn my back on him. And I couldn't for the life of me understand how they could. Luckily, Sid was of the same mind as me. It was him who stood beside me when all I wanted was to tear the whole world down. Him who cried for me. Him who swore he'd do everything he could. And he was true to his word, too. Left the Royal Army once and for all. Threw away everything he had. All to right a wrong that I knew then. I'd follow that man to the ends of the earth. He was always too clever for his own good, was Sid. Saw the world for what it really was, while the rest of us were content to go along with the lie we were shown. And it can't have been easy, bearing that burden alone. But he didn't let it stop him. He never lost faith in what he believed was right. And that gave us faith in him. Faith he'd steer us true. So I swore to myself that I'd always be right behind him, ready to catch the stubborn sod, if ever he should fall. But I couldn't even do that. Ignore me. Just the ramblings of a tired old man. Leave that lot. I'll tidy it up in a bit.
This is Sid's handwriting. Dear Otto.
I may be drunk, But I wanted you to know, this place would be fucked without you. Love you, you grumpy old sod.
This note.
Hmm? What about it?
Sid was right. Without you, we'd all be lost.
He should have bloody well said so then. Just once. Before he went. But then, why would he? Him, or anyone? I'd only have told him to piss off. You're wrong, though. Both of you. It was never just me keeping the hideaway afloat. It was all of us. I just shoved people in the right direction. I barely seem to be able to do that anymore.
Would you rather go at the helm?
Well, maybe I've got a few more years left in me.
I'm going to hold you to that, Otto.
Before you go, Sid would have wanted you to have this.
But that's...
This'll do me just fine. Thanks for the ray of sunshine. I'll see if I can't pay you back.
Already have.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you back so soon. You earned this. Best of luck out there, Sid.